The third key principle in remembering names is to use what are known as mnemonic devices. Mnemonics, which are spelled M-N-E, which is an odd way to begin mnemonics, deal with memory tools. That's all they really mean. It's just a fancy tool for memory tools. We, for example, use a mnemonic to remember the English alphabet. The mnemonic is a song. When we're trying to remember a letter and its position within the alphabet, we will, to some degree, sing the song. You know how it goes. A, B, C, D. That's a mnemonic device. Anything that assists our memory will help us remember a person's name. One of the most common form of mnemonic device when it comes to names is to associate the person's name with something else you find easy to remember. If, for example, you met someone whose last name was Gray, a very simple mnemonic device is to associate their name with the color gray, especially if it's present in the moment. Right now I'm wearing gray flannel pants. If I met someone today who was called Gray, I might literally, once again, pay attention, shake their hand, introduce myself. They would tell me their name was Gray. I would then repeat it a couple of times in my mind, try to use it in the conversation, and then glancing down at my pants, I would go, gray pants, Mr. Gray, Mr. Gray, gray pants. Now here's one of the things you'll notice about mnemonics the more you play with them. They will, if they're not the association you've chosen, seem silly to you. So you'll be like, Richard, really? That's how you remember someone's name, by tying them to a piece of clothing you're wearing? Sometimes that's what works. Sometimes we use mnemonics where things rhyme. So we could, for example, if my name was Bill, or I knew someone well named Bill, and I was introduced for the first time to Jill, then I would say, I know Bill, Bill knows Jill. And that ridiculous little rhyme would be sufficient in many cases to lock it in my mind. If you want to learn more about mnemonics, which is a huge branch of cognitive psychology, just go online and Google or search the word mnemonics, M-N-E-M-O-N-I-C-S. And they'll give you all kinds of advice on how to set these things up. Many of you may be doing it subconsciously. The key to remembering names is to begin to practice the three principles of memory that underlie remembering. The first principle is pay attention. The second principle is repeat the name as much as reasonably possible, either internally to yourself or externally in the conversation that proceeds from the first introduction. The third tool is look for clever tricks to associate the name with something you find easier to remember. You can associate it with things that you know, with things that are present at the moment you meet the person. You can turn it into rhymes, into songs, into any number of things which, once again, will feel odd to others but can work for you. When we set goals in the business planning course that we teach, we talk about those goals being SMART. Now, SMART is an acronym. Each letter in the word SMART represents something we're trying to remember. So although it's an acronym in the language of language, it is in the language of memory a mnemonic, because it is a simple way to remember that all goals should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time dimensioned. And of course, because it makes sense to say, I don't want to set dumb goals, I want to set SMART goals, it's doubly effective because it's easy to remember all goals should be SMART. Oh yeah, SMART represents the components of goals, and you see I've kind of got a two-level mnemonic there that will help me remember. If you want to become better at remembering names and it's not one of your natural skills, remember, pay attention, repeat, use mnemonics.